Hello everyone, another episode of Cooper's Corner. This one is about the DIBELS reading assessment, which I recently found out we had to do, and I think everyone at Stafford has to do it. I didn't know that, and I had some questions, so I thought, let's ask Tim, film it, and put it out there. So here we go to Tim. Okay, Tim, so we had a few questions. Sorry. First of all, let's focus. What is the DIBELS and why are we doing it, in brief?
Fair enough. So the DIBELS is a new kind of reading assessment, or at least new to us kind of reading assessment, that's very fast, especially compared to F&P. It gives a lot of very fast data as a really quick snapshot of how our kids are reading. It's getting compared to like the check engine light in the car. The check engine light doesn't tell you what's wrong with the car, but it tells you that there's a problem.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I see you have the materials in front of you there. Where does one go to access these materials?
It's all available on the DIBELS website. If you were to Google DIBELS, you'll get to their website, and it's available for free. You can download each grade as you need it. So for Stafford, you would get either the 6 or the 7 or the 8. That also comes with the administration directions. Each of those files is going to have 4 things in it. There are student and teacher materials for both the maze, the whole class part, and the ORF, which is the one-to-one part.
Okay. How do we administer both the written and the one-on-one part?
And this is where it's a little bit complicated to explain in a short time. I should mention that. All right, so what everybody should do before they administer it is go read the scoring directions as part of the bundle that you'll download off of the website. That has way more information in it than you'll ever need, but what you really want to do is read the section about the ORF, the oral reading fluency test, and the maze subtest.
Because I think, am I correct in thinking that when you do the maze with your whole class, basically there's a little script on the front, and it's like a timed thing?
Yes. So you would, when you're actually administering it, you would read the script, and you're supposed to read it exactly as it's written.
Will you sort of show us where that is and read maybe the first line?
Sure.
Where you're finding that?
So you try to do it fairly passively. You say, I am going to give you a worksheet. When you get your worksheet, please write your name at the top and put your pencil down.
Okay, and then it just goes through.
It goes on, and it actually walks students through the practice passage as well. Okay. It's got good examples of how to do the practice passage, what to say if your kids are not understanding it. It's got a few different kind of branching paths if you need them. But one thing that we noticed on this administration was that in no spot does it ever say that you should turn the page. So some of our new grade 6s were finishing one page and not turning over to the next page if they're printed double-sided.
Be aware of that. Good
so
idea.
Some kids probably scored less than they should have because they didn't understand that you have to turn a page in a bundle of pages.
In a nutshell, basically they just have to circle the correct word that makes the most sense.
Absolutely right. So Tom goes to a school far from his house. Every morning he takes a school, and they choose from art, bus, or work to go to school. They would, of course, circle bus. And then in the next one, in the afternoon, he also takes a bus home. That's the practice passage. Then there are roughly 50 different questions as part of the full maze, and students are going to do as many as they can in a 3-minute time. I should note, nowhere in this does it say that it's 3 minutes timed. It is best, especially for a first administration, just don't say that it's timed. You time it and you tell them to stop. You do tell the kids that they should stop when you say stop, and you'll set a timer and then say stop at the end of the 3 minutes.
Okay. While we were looking at that one, when you're scoring it, something I wondered when I started looking was I noticed it says the number you get correct to mark down the number. Where did that page go? The front page. Oh, there it is. So to write here, the number correct, the number incorrect, and adjusted score. And immediately my first thought was, if they don't answer it, is that incorrect?
Great question. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. This is where reading that whole administration guide, or at least the section on the maze, is very helpful. You want to know things like, in this case, Karen, that's the examiner one. When a kid answers, pardon me, flip and open, there we go. If a kid answers this first question and then skips the second one and then does the third, the second one will be wrong.
Okay.
If the kid starts on the second one and then continues on, the first one is not wrong. It would not be counted at all. So you'd count the ones
In between that they've missed?
if they skip one in between, that is a wrong answer.
And if they say they only answer the first 4 and then they don't do any more?
Then they're only going to get basically a mark out of 4.
Yeah, so it's like maybe they got these 2 right, these 2 wrong. That's what you'd write on the front page.
Exactly. On that front page, you would write they had 2 correct and 2 incorrect. Do not worry about adjusted score for what we're doing. So part of my role is to develop this spreadsheet that's going to help take the correct and incorrect score and do the math for you so that it can give you some useful data out of it.
So that leads me to my next question. I'll come back to the other part in a second. But so once we've filled this in and we figured out the correct and incorrect, where do we put that data for each kid?
So that's going to go into this spreadsheet that's going to be shared out. I'm going to be finishing it up at the district end and then sending it to admins, and then admins are going to be sending it out to individual teachers.
Okay, so that hasn't arrived yet.
No, it is October 4th today, and so look for it within about 2 weeks.
Okay, so the expectation is hopefully we will be starting to get this done within the next couple weeks.
That's right, and anybody who might already have got their DIBELS stuff done, if you're at Stafford, you're welcome to use the one that I've already sent out. I personally sent out a link to absolutely everybody by grade, so you can use the spreadsheet that we have. It's just not as good as the one that's coming.
Would you prefer that we wait until the one that's coming?
That's up to you, because you probably need to know how your kids are reading now so that you can make instruction decisions.
Yeah.
So it's okay to do it now. What I'm gonna do is just take all that data that we've already added in, and I'm gonna bring it over so you don't
Okay.
have to. If you enter it once, it's entered, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Beautiful. I know we need to look at the instructions, and it's the OR, basically the
ORF.
one-on-one. In brief, could you just kind of give us what is the idea of it? What are we doing?
So what you're doing is having the kid read for about a minute. I say about a minute, you should have a timer. It's exactly a minute.
Thought so.
You'll have, again, a little speech that you have to read verbatim.
Yeah.
And then the kid is gonna read as far as they can. You mark any mistakes that they make, bearing in mind, of course, like if they have a dialect difference, if, let's say, they've learned English in another part of our country or a different country, don't correct like pronunciation problems.
So that doesn't count as an error.
That's not an error.
What about like a speech impediment? Same thing.
Exactly.
Not an error.
We want to be understanding of anything that the kid can't change. We're
Okay.
just marking things that they could change.
Perfect.
And so anytime they mess up on one word, just take a slash through that word.
Okay.
At the very end, on the teacher version, which I've now
Sorry, I
lost.
know, it's somewhere.
It's okay. I spread it all out. Anyway, on the teacher version, wherever it is in this pile, it's this one.
Nice, good find.
Okay. It actually says how many words, along the right, it says how many words are in each line. So it's easy to know. You can, if, let's say they read down to here for some
Yeah.
of our kids. So if they got to the very end of that first paragraph, we know that there were 55 total words in that paragraph.
Okay.
And you would then subtract. Sorry, you don't have to do that. That's the spreadsheet.
That's the spreadsheet.
You would write the number of words that
So
they read.
55 words read.
Exactly, and then the number of errors that they
Let's say
made.
3 errors.
Yep, so it would be 55 and 3.
And then do we write total words correct?
You do not have to. That is something that the spreadsheet does for you.
All the math.
Although
Okay.
it would be really easy to do. That's the easier calculation.
But still, that's okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, that goes on the spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm just going to see if there's any more questions I had for you. That was pretty much give me an idea. Where do we score them? Where do we put the information? What's going to happen with this data? How is it going to be helpful?
That's a good question. And a big part of that is when the spreadsheet gets rolled out, we've tried to create something that's really useful for classroom teachers so that they can look at each student and get a sense of how much instructional support that person needs.
Okay.
So it's broken down into if that kid needs whole class support, or if they need small group support as well as whole class support, or if they need intensive support as well as small group, as well as whole class support. So you would you'd take a look, and when you've entered that data for a student, you can then look at a different screen and it'll show you a general idea of that, and then you can get kind of an idea of what your class needs altogether. If a lot of kids need intensive support, you can say, hey admin, we have a big problem here, and we need more help, we need more support in this way.
Beautiful. Very well explained. That was so super helpful. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.